So hello everyone. Let's start with the session for today. It's already 11:05, so I believe that we have 33 attendees here. Without further delaying, let's start. Let me introduce you to the training thing, what you're doing with OSS Training, A Chance to Shine. Is it one providing this? And I welcome you all for this today's online workshop on mobile application development. And I express my gratitude to Mr. N.A. Kumble, Workshop Coordinator, Mr. S.V. Chavan, HOD CAC, Mr. V.V. Giri, Principal SGP, Mr. V.V. Bosale, Trustee SGU, and Mr. Sanjay Godawat, President SGU. I thank you all for providing this opportunity, and we look forward for further moves. So I'm very pretty sure, like you all are aware of why we are here. We are into Android app development for 2 days workshop. For today, we'll be covering this following topics: why Android development. Then we'll start with Hello World program, as you're pretty sure with the theory and the general things about Android development. So we'll start with the programming, Hello World program. Then we'll implement a linear layout, a table layout, and a frame layout, implementing of text view and edit text, button, image button, and a toggle button, implementing of a text box, toast alert and a custom toast alert, login window using above component. So these are the topics we'll be covering for today's session. And with this, let's get started. Let me just introduce you to what is OSS. So we conduct workshops pan-India. It has also been collaborated with IIT Bhubaneswar. We conduct series of workshops in association with TechFest IIT Mumbai. So this is just a brief about us. You can follow us on following things for Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn, and so on. Is my screen visible there? Just a second, complete. Yeah, Naresh Kamble, I have allowed you to speak.
Hello, sir.
Yep. Yes, sir. Tell me.
Yeah, am I audible to you?
Yeah, you are audible to me.
Yeah, fine, sir. Can you just show me? Can you share the screen regarding the attendees, the number of attendees that you have right now?
Yeah, sure. Here it is.
So that I can convey the message to the others, the rest of them who are not attended yet.
Yeah, the 38 as of now.
38.
Yes.
Okay, so 12 people need to be connected. Okay, fine, no problem, sir. You can start with your session. Just keep the mic on so that if there is any kind of query, I'll just speak with you. Okay, sir?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Yeah, fine. You can continue, sir. Yeah.
Okay. So with this, let's start with a session for today without delaying any further more. So why Android development? as we are pretty sure, like why Android development, it is one of the most leading and having the most spread Android development. I mean, like operating system, which has more than 1 billion active users, and every month there are more than 200 million smartphones which are being delivered. I mean, like which are operating on operating system. So it's pretty much sure that we need to have a knowledge or like to get into Android development. So pressing our we have access to why we can use Android development or Android applications for us. First thing, I presume we have already installed Android Studio. Okay. Please reply me with yes if you have already installed with Android Studio, please. I request all the attendees to please respond to me with an S if your Android Studio is already installed, so that I know how many have not done it. Please make it fast. We are already 10 minutes down the line. And those who all have not installed, as I saw, one of them have not installed here as of now. So I request you to please download and install the Android Studio from their official website, and then you can continue with the thing. It's pretty fine if you have the Android Studio installed in your desktop or your PCs. It's okay with anything, but hope so you all have installed it. And those who have not installed, I request you all to please install the Android Studio as soon as possible, and then you can continue with me so that we can go ahead. Mayur says caused by he had some error downloading the Gradle jar and so on. Please check out your setup file and do it once again.
ऍक्टिव्हिटी करून जंगलीचं काढे
Mayur, you're using an offline version of the Android Studio, so like please connect to the internet and then try again. Hope so it solved the problem. So with this, I assume that most of you all have Android Studio installed in the desktop or machines. And those who have not installed, I request you all to please go back and install it as soon as possible. You can go to the Android Studio official website and download the file. It's around 768 MB and so on. Please download that file and install it. Once you download the file and install it, you also need to access and allow other installation file like SDKs and the virtual device also. Once you're done installing, you can follow up with the same session. So let me go to Android Studio now, and then we'll start doing it. So here's my Android Studio. I open my Android Studio now. I've already installed my Android Studio with me. So this is the latest version, and this is how it looks like. It may take few time to load it because it's a pretty heavy software consuming more than 3 GB of RAM space into your machines. So please have a patience and let it load. Are everyone following with me? Please reply me with yes or no. Is everyone following with me? Okay. So here you go. Like as soon as you open Android Studio the very first time, you will get close the project that has already existing project. And as soon as you open your Android Studio after everything, you'll have this kind of window. You can click on a start a new Android Studio project. Once you click on it, they'll ask you for a project template. So as we are doing for a phone today, and we are going to learn it, so we'll be using empty activity. You can also use other activities here, but for us now, we are going to use empty activity as it is a required thing for today. So once I select on empty activity, I click on a next. And here you go with name. So in the name place, you can give any name you want. So let me give it as a webinar 1 for today. And in package name, you can give your website address or anything such. So I don't have, okay, we're not going to change this for anything for today. Let it be com.example.webinar. You can change it to anything you want. And in the save location, you can use any location where you want to save the project. And Android Studio supports both the languages Java and Kotlin. So we are much more familiar with the Java. So for today, we'll be going with the Java itself. So I choose Java as my language. And here you have something called minimum SDK. Point to remember, here the lower the version you select or the lower the API level you select, the more number of devices you can target on. For an example, just for a quick thing, as of now I have selected API 25, which is 7.1.1 nugget. So if I click on this, you can see here your app will run on approximately 66.2% of the devices. So if I just choose anything lower than that, consider ice cream sandwich, it says 100% of the devices. So as the lower the API, the more number of devices it will support. So let's keep it to 6.0 marshmallow for as of now, and we have 84.9% of the devices targeted. Once we are done with that thing, we can click on a finish. Once you click on a finish, you get these two things: activity main and a main activity. To the UI here first. Before we start, for the first app, I'll go a bit slow and explain you everything in detail so that we can continue the same way for the next app. So here you have the complete directory of the files, whatever you have for the app. And here you have a Gradle, which is used for building the app applications. And here you have the source files and all these things. So here is your main activity. So main activity is the place. We have two things in every, like the fundamental things for every Android application is you have views or layouts, where every views will have its own, like every view can have sub views also in it. View is nothing but a layout like UI. You can have boxes, you can have text views, you can have progress bars, you can have buttons, anything such. Any components you add will be there in the UI, that is view things. And in main activity, So this is how your view looks like. For example, if I go here and then you have design, that is, this part is, we have two windows here. Here is a view design and this is a blueprint. So I can have either a design, just a design, or I can have just a blueprint, or I can have a combination of both design and a blueprint. So here is the thing where like I add up all the components for the required application what we have. And in main activity, once I add up the components here, example, I add up a button here or and a text viewer here. So whatever I add up, I give them a condition, or I give them an activity what to be done. For an example, the thing for first project what we'll be doing is a button when hello world. So if I want to print an hello world first, so what that hello world should be doing it, which screen should it be showing at the very first. So this is what we do for in activity and in main in view and in main activity. And to check out our application on our mobile phone or in a virtual device, you can click on this play button here, run button here. Once you click on this, if you have your virtual device installed in your Android Studio, you'll have your virtual device, or else you can connect your phone to your laptop and go to the settings and go to your about phone, click on a model number, keep on clicking it until you get your USB debugger, Android developer option. And once it is turned on, you can search for debugger option in the settings and enable it. Once you enable it, you can come here and then choose your device. Once you choose your device, and then you can play this, and you will get your application live on your mobile phone also. So I'm using my Pixel 2 virtual device. So with this, I hope I'm clear with the basic things. If anyone have any doubts in this, just let me know quickly here. With this, let's start with our very first project for today. That is Hello World. So when you start an empty project, you already have a Hello World. Click on a main activity, and then you already have an Hello World here. And you also have some kind of strings here. I'll tell you what are those. You can click on this Hello World first, and then press edit. Or you can click on a right click on the text view here, component tree, and then press delete. So I have deleted everything from the screen. Now what I'll do is I'll go to a palette here, click on a text view, drag the text view and place it on the screen. Once I do this, it tells me something like constant layout. So this complete screen is inside a constant layout. So if I just place it here, this is in a floating now. This can be anywhere on the screen, on the left, right, or anywhere such. So to make it constant with the things, I can click on this and then pull it up to this end, and again click on here and then pull it up to this, add the constant to it, click on here and then pull it down, and here again the same thing on the top. Once I'm done with this, I can even change the view and width, height of the hello world here. So you can see here, once I click, as it is being selected with the text view here, and here is the attributes of the text view. So these are the attributes of the text view. So point to remember, with every single component you add, you need to give every single component a unique ID. You cannot have the same ID for any two components. So the ID for my text view is text view for now, and here are the constant levels. So what I do is, uh, if I just want to keep the buffer margin to 16, it will be a 16. That is, if I drag this thing down here to the bottom, to the bottom, or you can just click here on the corners and arrow mark and drag it like this, so that you have it on a larger view. And the text I want to show inside this text view is hello world, and then press enter. Once you're done with this, you can see the hello world screen here. You can also, this is the drag and drop GUI thing kind of thing, where you can make your screens, just directly drag and drop the components and place it, and then apply the constraints and change the IDs, and you can also change the colors and so on by using the attributes mentioned below here. As you have all your attributes here, you can also go into XML and then click here, and then you'll get the complete XML for the same. You can use even that way also. So we'll not be using XML for now, we'll just be using like this. Once you're done with this, I place the component, I added the constants, I also gave it the ID for the same component, and also the text what I want to give. Once I'm done with that, I can go back to the main activity. So here how the main activity looks like. So here you can see the set content view, the very first screen which is being showed is the layout activity main. So this activity main is the first screen which will be showed as soon as your application is being open. So this, as you can see, a set content view layout activity main. But if you just compile this and run it on a device, you'll not get hello world, because I did not get access to the component what I have added there. The component what I have added is text view, which holds a value hello world inside it. So I need to get access to the component. So for that, what I do is, as it is a text view, I write text view and then give it a name, text view, and then find view by ID R, and you can ask me question, what is R dot here? R is for getting all the resources required for the same. R dot ID dot, and the ID of the component what I have given. So the ID was text view. So make sure that you remember the ID whatever you have given, and no components should have the similar ID. Every component should have the different ID, and then semicolon. Once you're done with this, now we have got access to the ID, so that holds a value hello world inside it. So we are done with the very first tab. So now I have already connected my mobile phone to my computer. So it is Oppo. So I'll just use my Pixel 2 so that you can see the virtual device on my screen. So I have choose my Pixel 2 as a virtual device, and then I play it. Once you click on a run, you will have your virtual device launched. So let me wait for it until it's been launched. As you can see, my virtual device is getting on. So this was the previous app. So you can see the our application webinar 1 with a text hello world on the screen. So I hope you all are clear with this. Please let me know how are you along with me here. Did everyone made this app? I request all the students to please make it quick when you're answering yes or no, so that like we don't waste any time further and we can go ahead with the other things. And if you have any doubts on this thing, please let me know so that we clarify it now itself, so that we don't waste our time in the next upcoming applications. So I have quite a few quite S's. So we'll start with the second one. So now let me close this application completely. Or to save your time, we'll do is we'll just add up the next thing in this itself. So what we'll do is we'll go to layouts now. We'll see how can we add up a linear layout. So we can go to the palette again, click on a layouts, and click on a linear layout horizontal, and then you can place a linear layout horizontal here. Once you place a linear layout horizontal here, you can see this took the complete space here. You can change those things, like this component has taken the screen from the top till here. So if I want to keep some buffer, for an example, if I want to have some space here, so I can click on this and then add some buffer. For an example, I add up 32 for now, 32. So this will be the space left as a buffer for this thing. On the sides also, let me add few space, that is, let me make it to 16 and 16 on the both the sides. So I made 16 on the both the sides, or I can just do like this and then we'll see. I add a constant like this on the both the ends and even on the top. So I've added my linear layout here. Now let me place something inside this linear layout. Consider, let me again do a text inside this linear layout. So I put a text view inside the linear layout and then give a text here is like my linear layout. So this has a value of my linear layout now. I can even do something if I want to change the width and such. I can use this match parent, so it will be equal to it will take the complete size of this complete parent. The parent is this linear layout for this. You can see that same thing on the component tree here. This linear layout contains the sub view, that is text view 2 inside the linear layout. So this is my linear layout now. So now again you can just click on this run app, or if you have just made one simple changes, you can click on apply changes and restart the activity. So let me just click on the apply changes and restart the activity here. You can also press Ctrl F10 for doing the same thing. So once I do this, let me see what's my updated thing. So it says me reinstall the application and then launch it. So I click on that reinstall and restart the app, because I have made quite changes. So installed successfully, finished in 2 seconds and 6 milliseconds. Now you can see I have my linear layout here. My linear layout, and it has a text view inside it, that is my linear layout. So this is how you can use the linear layout and place anywhere you want, apply the constraints to it, and add up all the whatever the components you want to place inside the linear layout. So what happens with when you use the linear layouts or something like that, it segregates your screen UI. I mean, like, you don't have the components all jumbled up. Example, you have the linear layout first. So that linear layout will have the components whatever is present inside that linear layout. So you don't need to do anything such. Uh, I hope everybody followed this too. What is the difference between a blueprint and a design view? Saad Jamada. Yeah, sure. The difference between a design and a blueprint is, in a design you can see the physical, like, you can see in a graphical interface like what you're doing and all these things. In Whereas in a blueprint we just have a blueprint like what is the size and what are the constants you have and from where is it been attached. As you can see here, you have this constant this much and this constant is being connected, and this is the difference between these two spaces we have, and the buffers what we have on the sides and also on. Whereas you can't see this properly. Same thing on the design window or a design layout. So if I just see on the design layout, it's a bit difficult getting to know completely. Even with the design layout you can do the same thing, but it's better to have both design and a blueprint so that you understand it clearly, like which part gets connected to which part and what is the buffer size we have, and that distances and the components where they are being placed. So I hope this. So are we done with the second? Please let me know, are we done with the second linear layout? Please let me know if you are finished with the second thing and make it quick, fast. There is a question from Mayor asking which layout we use while development. So it depends on you, like what layout you use. If you want to use horizontal or a vertical or a scroll layout and all these things, it depends on your application what you want to do. So if I just want to have something in a horizontal vertical thing, you can use a vertical layout and adapt the things. So it's completely on your requirement of what you do. I hope this answered the query at Mayor. So with this, uh, which layout is preferred commonly by Arihant Koti? It completely depends on the requirement what you have. Because if you have something a requirement of a vertical thing, then I cannot suggest you to use a linear layout. So it's completely based on you, like what you want and what is your requirement and what is the requirement type of application you have. So it depends on you what type of layout you want to use. And I hope it answered your query at Arihant Kote. So now as we finish with implementing a linear layout, we'll see table layout or a frame layout, and then we'll see text view and edit text. So we'll go with the frame layout now. So we go again to the palette and click, and also we have a space and table row. So if we use a frame layout, let's try to use a frame layout now. I don't have a space, so let me delete this. I deleted the complete layout itself. So I just have a I'll delete even the hello world also. So I add up a new frame layout on the screen. So this is my new frame layout, and it took the complete of the screen itself. As you can see, this is the complete frame layout itself. So I can resize the complete frame layout here, and then I'll place it on somewhere on the between. Now let me add up the constants here, and we'll also add up the buffer size later. Can even customize to your need. You need not follow the same what I'm doing. So this is my frame layout. So let me add up a text inside it and two text inside it. So I have this frame layout with me here now. Now let me change this in the context of this text layout. I click on a text view and then add up something here. Frame layout. I'm on my attributes window here, and then I have text alignment here. So text alignment is, sorry, text size is 14 sp here. So let me change the text size to 30 sp, and this is how we can change the text size inside the text view window. And we'll see what is there on the text alignment. We'll see view end. So it comes to this end, and if we also use center, we get the complete text inside the on the center of the frame layout. Now let me go back here and then access the same text view. So before we do that thing, this is a text view component here, and the ID for this text view is text view 3. So I access that thing, text view find by ID r dot text view 3. Now let me run this thing and see what happens. How does it look like? Did everyone get the frame layout now? This is how it looks like. If anyone are not following me, please let me know so that I can just quickly recap the same thing. You do better than telling me the later, then we'll be completely ahead. So Abhay Deshmukh says, "Sir, can you please recap?" Yes, sure. I'll just tell you once again. Okay, I'll just tell it once again in a quick way. So what happens, like we just saw earlier, the layout. In layouts, we have many layouts. As we can see, we have linear layout, we have frame layout, table layout, and table rows, and so on. So we first saw linear layout horizontal. What happens is you can place it anywhere in the screen as your requirement, and you can have components inside that linear layout. So we're pretty clear with the linear layout, and also we got a questions like which is preferred. So it completely depends on what type of application you're using it. It's never like I prefer this and that. It's up to you what you prefer and what is application requirement you have. In frame layout, then we saw a frame layout. So what is frame layout in the sense? This is designed to block out an area on the screen display to display a single item. Like example, if I want to block some part of the area, some part of the screen, just for something, some component. So I can just use this frame layout and block that part of the screen. So I just block this part of the screen, this complete thing. What you can see, this part of the screen, I blocked it completely. And inside this, I only used one text view to show that is if, and in that text, I'm showing a frame layout. Once I do that thing, I went to the main activity and then access the same text view 3, so that it should be shown on the screen. Once I did with that thing, I clicked on this thing and then we got this frame layout. So is it clear now? Okay, once it is clear, let us go to next thing. What we have next is text view and edit text. So this is pretty interesting how we can go with text view and edit text. So let's go again back to the palette thing, and then let me delete this text view 3 also, and even the frame layout also. You can also choose to make a new app for every single application what you're doing, but just to save the time, and as we just have 4 hours of time for the complete session for today and tomorrow, I'm just using the same thing without changing the application, new applications to it. So we are in the new completely fresh page now, fresh screen. And let me add a text first. This is a text view. This just shows this element. Text view only shows whatever you entered into it. As you saw earlier, I just showed, I entered a example, I entered a hummingbird here. So it will just show me hummingbird here, nothing else in that. So let me make it a bigger, and then, okay. So always remember, text view only shows what you want to show. I mean, like if you have something to display, it will just display, it will not take any input or anything such. Whatever is being assigned to it, it will just show that thing. Whereas the plain text is also called an edit text. If you use this thing, this will take the enter. Like you can click on that and use it as a use to enter something. You can enter something, as you can, like I'll show you just in a moment how can we enter something into that. So now I have just added 2 components. That is, one is a plain text view and one more is a plain text on edit text. As you can see here, edit text. So let me add up a constant to this. Constant here. And also the top. And also to this thing. So as you can see here, one more thing I want to tell you, this when I pulled this down completely, let me pull this to here so that, and this to here. Yep, this completely came down, completely down. So example, I want to keep some space down. So what I can do is, that is called a buffer space. So I can go here and then add up a buffer space. Consider I add up a 76 as a buffer space. Sorry, not to that component. To this component, that is text. So I just add up a buffer space of 76. So as you can see, this is the buffer space. Now anything you add, this will not go below this thing. So I had up a buffer space here. So I did add the 2 things, that is edit text and a text view, and also added the constant. So I'm done with the designing of this. Let me change the text size of this text view. I'll go down again here, completely down. If you go, you have a text size here 14 sp. So let me change it to 30 sp. So yes, it's pretty well. And the alignment to center. You can also have a text color and all these things from this bar. So let me change it to something, this thing, so it looks good. Yeah, you can also have a text color highlight and all these things. I'll not go with that thing as of now. You can, if you want, you can customize your thing. So once I'm done with this, I have this name also. Let me now go back to the main activity and access the same 2 components. And as every time, remember very well that you need to have the component ID for all the components you add. So every time it assigns a component ID by itself. So if you, for your convenience, you can change that ID for whatever you want. So let me change this to text view so that I don't forget it. Or like text, that's a text. And then for this, I write edit, that's an edit. You can change the ID whenever you want. Whenever you want, you can change the IDs also. So once I'm done with changing the IDs and all these things, I have one ID as a text and other ID as an edit. So let me go back to the main activity now, and then first one is text, so text view, and I give it a name text view itself, and then let me find it by an ID, find view by ID, r.id, and then that is the text. And the other one was edit text, so that you can access that as using this edit text. Then edit text, that's a name given to it, and then find view by ID, r dot id dot edit is the name given to it, edit is ID given to it. So I access both the things with their IDs. I'm done with the thing. Now let me run the complete thing once again and see what is the app looks like with both the edit text and the plain text view. So it says me reinstall the app. Okay, sure, we'll do that thing. And here's my app now. So now you can see I have a text view that shows hummingbird here, and also a edit text here. So if I click on edit text, now I can enter something if I want. Hello hummingbird. So this is how you can have an edit text window whenever you want by using the plain text, which is also called as an edit text. And here you can so do this. And let me tell you the difference again. Text view cannot be changed whenever you do it. Text view cannot be changed once it is assigned. I mean, like whatever the value is being assigned to it, that will be the only being shown. And in edit text, you can always click on that and it takes an input from you. So always this takes an input. Edit text takes an input, and the other one shows what to be like whatever the text it has been given to it. So I hope everyone followed until here. Let me go with other. Tell me yes or no. If you have any doubts, please ask me that also here. We have a question from Arihan Kote. Is buffer space is used for alignment? Actually, it's better to have a buffer space. Consider you have an application here, and then you just you don't want any components to go and attach to this part of the screen, or you need this space here, like you need to have maintain this constant space here. So every time you cannot keep on adding a component and assigning those constants so that this doesn't come into this part of space which you want to keep it as constant empty space. So we can have a buffer space, so that part of the screen will not be taken by any component. Every component will be above that thing. So I hope this cleared the query. Shall we go with the next? Yes, it is used for a margin space. Now we'll I think so everyone I think so everyone have done with it. Now we'll go with the next. What we'll do is we'll enter the text in this edit text and display the same text what is being entered on the edit text into the text view. So with this, let's start with doing the same thing. So I go back to this thing. I am not going to add up any component as of now, because I already have a component which is required for the same. I have a text view, and I also have an edit text with me. So all I need to do is go to the main activity and do the same thing here. So now what I do is Let me add up one more thing. We'll just okay. We need to add up a button also to this. So let us see what we have in the thing. Yeah, we have a button now. So we'll add up a button first, and we'll see how the button works first, and then do the like when you press a button, enter a text, and then you press a button, and the same text is being shown into the text view. That will be our next thing. So now we'll see how to get a button into it. So this is my screen I have as of now. Let me go to the palette again, click on your buttons, and then you have button, image button, chip, checkbox, radio buttons, and so on. Let me click on a button now and drag and drop it here. I did it, and then let me make it much more, increase the width like this. Add up the constraint to it, same like as we did earlier. So I'm done with adding this thing. So let me here click on the button component and then change the text to show the text. Show the text. So this is how my UI will look now. Let me go back to the main activity, and very first thing for every component you add is accessing the same thing. So accessing the button now, button and view by ID r dot id dot let us see what is ID being assigned to this button. So the ID is button itself for the same. Okay. So it's not taking you. Okay. Change this to hyphen is equals to view by ID or dot ID dot it's not taking the ID from there. Let me do one thing. I just save this program. Wait a second. We'll just see. So, so we can we access component using names? No, we cannot access components using name. The name should be like you should assign an ID to it, and then only you can access the component using the same ID. And at IKJ892, use XML for design. Yeah, sure, you can use XML. Let us do the same thing if you want. We're going with an XML, but that would be a time consuming for us. So we are using with the same. If you want to use an XML, let us go with the same. I'll show you how to go with it. So consider like I just want to change the properties of this attribute, I go here, click on XML part of it. Now we'll set a margin for the same button. Also try to add a hint for the same edit text so that enter your text. So pretty well, like you have a much more complexity using the XML, but it will be time consuming. So for now, we'll be using the same normal UI. So once we have done with the same thing, we'll go to our main activity. Main activity, we have accessed the button now. So what we have accessed the button. Let us click on this player and see what happens. So let me again change this to pixel 2 so that I can show you the virtual device. So now I have the button access here in the screen. As you can see, it tells show text, and also the thing what I have added as a hint using an XML as an enter your text. So it has a hint that is enter your text on the text editor also. So as we know now, we are pretty sure like how can we add up the button to this. So let us go and do some activity on the same. So what we'll do is whenever the button is pressed, whenever the button is pressed, will whatever the text is entered in the edit text will be shown on a text view. So these are thing to be done. So we'll see how can we do the same. So when button set on click listener, new view on click listener. Whenever the button is clicked, what we'll do is text view, set text, to edit text dot get text. Once we do this, whenever the button is clicked, what we will do is we'll change the text view text to edit text. So we get the text and then show it on the text view. So we'll go back now and see our program, see our application. We'll go to the virtual device as of now. So I enter my text here, hello, and then click on a show text. So it shows me hello on the text view also. So this is how we can take an input and then show it on the text view by using a button. Yes, you can use on-click property in XML also. Did you get this application until this thing? Sir, please show the Java code. Yes, sure. Here it is. Did everyone finish with this thing? Okay, so we have quite a assist, so we'll go with the next thing for now. Now we have a image button and toggle button. Also, we have implementing of a checkbox and toast alerts. And by using all these things, we'll at last we'll make a login window using the above components. So we'll see how can we use the checkbox. So we will go back to the activity page. Let's have a checkbox somewhere here on the between. So we can go to the buttons and then checkbox, and then drag it down here to the checkbox. So I have my checkbox here now. Let me resize the checkbox, add up the constraints to it. So I have added the constraint to the checkbox, and the ID for the checkbox is checkbox itself. Once I'm done with this thing, what I'll do is only if the checkbox is checked, and then you click the show text, only then it will show the text whatever is there inside your edit text. So we'll do that thing. We'll go back here. Very first thing, getting the checkbox access. So checkbox box. Box. So I'm done with the first thing, accessing the checkbox. Now the condition was, if the checkbox is checked, only then set the text view as whatever is there inside the edit text. So there is that thing. So you'll create an if condition here. If checkbox is checked, if checkbox is checked, do this. So now I have added the if condition, like if checkbox is checked, only then show the text in the text view whatever is there inside the edit text. So let me run the complete code again, complete application again, and see what happens. Reinstall and restart the app. Sure. Now I have checkbox also on my screen. So I got a checkbox here, and the display whatever the text is there inside this is hummingbird. So if I now write some text inside here, hello, and then press enter, and then click on a show text, it doesn't show the hello on the text view because the condition given was only if the checkbox is checked, only then show whatever is there inside the edit text on the text view. So let me click on a checkbox and then show the text. So now it changes to hello. So this is the way how can we go ahead with using the checkbox for our requirements. I hope everyone got until here. Please let me know if you have any doubts for here. Can we use state change method for checkbox? Yes, you can use even the state change method for checkbox. You can see all the methods which can be performed on any of the component by, for an example, I'll just show you here. For example, if I want to see what are the methods I can do is the text view and then percent dot, and you will have all the methods which can be performed on the same component. Please let me know if you are finished with this thing until here, until the checkbox, and you're getting the desired output on an application. I request all the attendees and the students to respond here. I see quite a few students responding all the time, and they're the same every time. So now we'll go back to our activity main and see how can we add up a toast. So what is toast? It's just a like pop-up message what will be shown. For example, if you enter the password and the password is wrong, it can even show in the text view like password is wrong, or it can give a small pop-up text message telling that it is wrong. So how can we do the toast? From where can we access it? So we'll go to the widgets. Toast is like it's going to be pop-up. Let button is pressed. So to get it, make text and then application, that is get application context. What message I want to show, that is and then the duration of the toast, how long should be the uh, duration which you have two options, either you have a long or a short. So let me use a long one. So I'm done with this. Like whenever I press a button and it will show me the text and also the toast. So we'll see like whether it works, because I have done something, I've not done something in this. I'll tell you what's not done. Let us see the application first. So when I click on the show text, it doesn't show me any toast. It doesn't show me any toast. So can anyone tell me like why isn't showing any toast? Sir, for toast can we give XML attributes and other designs? No, you cannot, because it's just a pop-up message type of thing. Instead, you can have a custom toast, and then you can assign the attributes and other design parameters if you want. So it's not. I have. So if I add a dot show to this, it'll show me a toast now. So let me run the application again. So now if I click on the show text, you can see it gives me a toast that is called toast done, and the duration is long, so it shows me for quite a long time. I'm audible now. Are you getting the toast? Are you getting a toast message? Yes, for sure. At Mayut, we can show you the custom toast also. Can I get a rest? Am I audible now? Okay, just a minute. Let me check out. I'm audible now. Okay, we'll start with the same thing. So I hope everyone got the toast thing. So assuming that everyone got the toast thing, what we'll do is we'll now use all the things whatever we learned until now, and then make a login screen. Whereas we'll take up the user input as a username and also a password, and then match up both the password and the username. And then when you press a button, it should give us a confirmation message that the login was successful. And if it is wrong, it should give us a confirmation that it was not successful. And also it should give us a close message telling that please verify your credentials. So these are the things we are going to use as of now. We'll also use the linear layout and put the username and the password edit text fields inside the linear layout. So with this, let's get started. I'll delete all the components, whatever I have in this. Press Ctrl A and then press delete, and everything is cleared. First thing is getting the layout. Linear layout. First, I got a linear layout, and then it took the complete of the space. Let me resize the space. Then drag it here. Use a text view. Here we'll have it. Sorry, text and a text view. We'll also have one more text here. Which will display as a confirmation message whether the successful login or not. And then we'll have a button on the down. When you press the button, it will verify whether the entered credentials, that is username and a password, are correct or wrong. And then we'll use a toast to verify that. So now we need two text fields. That is, one is plain text field so that we can take the user input. So I'll add up this one here for username and one more here for the password. Sorry, we'll not be using the edit text. We'll be using the password so that it's hidden. So I use the password here. So now, we have one thing to be done is we have a name and a username here. So this is a horizontal layout, but for our requirement, this should be below. So that is which comes inside a vertical layout. So we will not be using this horizontal. Instead, we'll be using the vertical layout. So let me delete this. Let me even delete this. And also delete this. Go to the layouts and use the vertical layout, which will have one below and then add up the edit text, that is plain text, and then a password. Now once I have added all the components, let me assign them constants. Like let us have the constants here for all the things, and let me resize this first. So we are done with the placing the components. That is, we have a text view here, and then in a username thing here, we'll just change that text view to hint. You can click on this, and then I erase this thing because I want a username here. In the hint box, I write username. And same with the password also. I write password. Now let me access the element components inside the what that are password and all these things. So first is we have is text view. So that is text view. Then name it as text view equals to find view by id or dot id dot. So very first component id is text view. Let me change the IDs for everything so that it's easier for us to do the thing. So let me change this to user and this to password and this login. So it's easier for us to understand when we assign them the IDs. By ID, that is user. So we have accessed all the 4 components, whatever we had inside the thing. That is user ID, password, and login button, and then message, whatever it should be displayed. Once we're done with this, let's do is like whenever the button is clicked, then we'll verify the credentials and then display a message based on that. So first, so that is user ID, sorry, login. Login is the name given to that. Login dot set on click listener new beyond click listener. So we'll compare the strings. We'll compare both the user ID and a password. So if user ID equals get text first, we'll change that like to be on a safer side. We'll do is convert whatever the thing, whatever we have getting from the both the user ID and a password field. We'll convert that to a toString first. So toString equals to and pass dot get text dot to string dot equals to password. So if these are the condition being matched, like if these are the condition being matched, that is user ID is hummingbird and the password is password with a capital P, then we'll change the message that is successful for the text view. So message dot set text successful login. Also we'll call up the toast to show like successful login. So for that, toast text application context, then messages successful toast dot duration length is a long. Else will show the message as set text is verify the credentials. So we are done with the program auto. Whereas like when we click, we have four elements, four contents, user ID field and a password field, and then we have a button for a login, and then we have a final text message. So that is text view message. So whenever the fields given parameters are username hummingbird and the parameters for the password is PASSWORD password. If these two matches, then we'll get a message that is successful login and also a toast telling us successful. Else we'll get a verify the credentials and a toast telling us failed. So let's see with this same thing on our application now. So here we have something like this username and password is completely on the top of the thing. So we'll get them down here. We'll just try to do this first. We'll see if we get something. Need not give the same password what I have given. Keep it secure. It says successful, but then This is completely on the top of the thing. So let's fix this thing. I hope you got until here, everyone. Yeah, sure. Aryan Kote will be using this activity thing, but that will be for tomorrow, like calling up the activity intents and all these things. So for today, all the basic things, whatever we had to do for the for the first 15 of the mentioned thing in the syllabus, and based on that, we had done this login program for today. Do you all get until this login, everyone? Yes. Show Java code, sir. So here is the Java code. What if we use on click in XML? Yes, you can. You can always use XML to do the change the attributes and parameters whatever you want. Uh, we have two questions here. Like, no, can you please click on a login from module from Arihan Kote? Please brief your question. I couldn't understand what you mean. And at IKJR, we still have time. So can you show us custom tours? So we are left only with the 15 minutes as of now for today's session for 2 hours. So we'll have some question answers things, and if you have any doubts, we can do with that. And we also will have some feedback from you, like small feedback, like how is it getting it done. And for tomorrow, we'll have all the activities intents and accessing the cameras, custom toast, and also we'll try to access the sensors from the mobile phones and so on for tomorrow's session. Can you please? He's asking for using function. Yeah, you can use an on-click function for the same. If you want to see, you can, like, I'll show you for a minute. You can follow up with me with doing the same. One commented so that I can use the same thing here. I'm declaring them on a global so that I can get access from the other class, the functions. So I'm done with doing the same thing like on click with login controller. So let us check out the application now. Sir, please show the activity main. Here's the activity main. So we have a question, sir. We can make it dynamic, like any username can be entered and password should have some conditions like 8 digits. And after doing all this, it will give us the successful message. Yes, we can do the same. At Mayur, was it clear, like doing the on-click thing? So I believe everyone got until here, like making all these things, getting until making a login window and getting the things. So that's all for today. We have 5-10 minutes, 5-7 minutes remaining. So if you have any doubts, please ask me. And if you want to let me know something like, okay, you want to see the output? Yeah, sure. We'll show you the output too. Just a second, I'm not getting this thing. Được chưa mà? Darian Kote, you got an output here like successful login here. Can you modify UI so we can see it clearly? Modify UI, hi. So you have used on-click method and function inside it, but I want to give on-click method in XML file and get output. Can you please show it, sir? Yeah, like well, let me try. We just have 3-4 minutes more. Let me try it out. Okay. You can go here to an XML thing. Darian code you can see here on the XML thing. It's already given on click. At Mayor, can you modify UI so we can see it clearly? So yes, I couldn't quite understand what you mean to say with modify UI at Mayor. Can you please repeat once? We got the successful login and also we made the modified UI and we got it successful login and password thing here. Now it's okay. So yeah, we're done with for today's thing, guys. It's almost 1 o'clock as of now. If you have any questions for today's session, please let me know in 2 minutes. And if you have, let me know how was the today's session also on the same chat. Can you custom toast Mayor and say I want to say that it's you have using clicks, but I want to use that on click and XML and get the same output. You can see here on the on click thing here. On click login controller in XML at Arihan Kote. And for the toast thing, we'll do toast thing custom toast tomorrow at Mayor. So we're already timed up with the thing. Arihan Kote you can see here on click is already there here. So on XML on click login controller. IKGR switch to new activity after successful login. Sure, we'll do that tomorrow. Please let me know like how was the today's session on the same chat in 1 minute, and then we'll end up the session for today. Please tomorrow tell tomorrow dynamic login using intent. Sure, we'll see our syllabus what is there to be completed, and then if time permits we'll also do the same thing, and all other queries also at Arihan Kote. And I think so IKGR is feeling sleepy, so good night. So we have developed apps are not responsive, so its appearance changes as screen of mobile changes. How to solve this problem? You can go and change the devices in what devices you're targeting on, and also you can try making it using the dynamic thing. Like here I have used Pixel, so even on my phone like Pixel 2, if I use the same APK to do this thing, even on my phone I'll get the things altered completely. So I can change the device I'm targeting for, and also you can use the dynamic thing so that it gets responsive to any application any mobile phone you use for. So database is in our tomorrow session. Yes, we'll do it. Can we use different layouts? Yeah, you can use the different layouts too. What will be interface of mobile application in third-party emulators? What will be interface of mobile application in third-party emulators in computer. It depends on the type of third-party emulator you're using. So as you can see, if I'm using the emulator given by the Android Studio itself for Pixel, so this is how it looks like. So it depends like what type of emulator and who is providing it. Will it be same as mobile phone? Most probably it should be same as mobile phone, but the virtual emulators lag and have too much of latency when doing the same things. So it's always better and preferred. Like as of now today, we had a very first session, and it was a beginner thing. So it's okay with the emulator, but I prefer and I also suggest you all to use a mobile phone for debugging. You can go to the settings and then enable your developer option and then enable the debugging option. And once you're done with that, you can click here, connect your mobile phone and allow the access, and then you'll get your devices here. So I have OnePlus here, so you'll get access here. Then you can have your application on your mobile phone itself. So that will be a much more easier and more understandable and how the application works, because the emulator usually have too much of latency and it sometimes hangs too. So I suggest you all go with the mobile phone itself for debugging. If anyone have any question, just last 1 minute so that we can end up the video thing for today. Is there any Android feature that can be used that can use iOS features? Make it brief, like what feature of the iOS you want to use for Android. If they have officially we have like call. So call is a feature both in iOS and this thing. So it depends on like what you're trying to do it. And if the Android supports that thing, then for sure. So after creating application, why we can't share it? Why you can share the application after making the application? You can just do is, or you can follow me here. You can click on a build here, build, and then click on build bundles APKs, and then click on a build APKs, and then once you click on build APKs, you will have your APK ready on the system. Then you can copy it or transfer it to your mobile phone and then install it. So your APK is built. So if I locate it, I'll get that my APK. So I can share it to your APK with others also. Which API is mostly used? So API level will depend on what type of devices you are targeting at. For example, like if I have a very high requirement and then I just want to target those who have the Android level 6.0 and up and all these things. So it completely depends on like how many types of device you want to target for. So I prefer like you go with the 6.0 so that it has almost 85% of the devices covered in the complete Android thing. And if you use a very high level API, then those applications will not be compatible with the low level APIs. So make sure that you are very much familiar, like you were very much understanding with what type of devices you want to operate on. So this was completely done on a Android 6.0 and the API level was 60. API was 23, I hope. No, 28. Yes, API 28. Is higher API more the better? You have a few advantages of having the higher API, which has a bit more features, but the disadvantage is like you cannot get the same application running on the lower API versions of Android mobile phones. So what is if you want to use app like Instagram, which API they use? They usually go with the not very lower, like try to have the minimum requirement which it meets with their applications. For an example, like if they use the lower versions, like consider like ice cream sandwich or gingerbread, that is Android 2.3 and all these things, they will not for surely support this Instagram because they have the resolution to and many other features doesn't match up with. So they'll go with the standard what their requirement meets up with. What advantages does 9.0 has over Oreo and other operating systems. So I think so we need to refer back to the okay, refer back to the change log of this Android Pie 9.0 and then other operating systems to find the complete details into it. I couldn't find quite a lot of changes into it, but if you want to be very peculiar with the thing, we can do the same. Database is used in Android users if physical storage or cloud storage by default. It's upon your application, like if you want to use a database which is to be stored on the uh, cloud or into the local storage that is on the device. For example, when you're using the application like Instagram and all these things, the database, like login ID and all these things are being stored in the cloud, and your data what you share like in WhatsApp and all those are stored in the local storage. Okay, it's almost 1:10. Thank you all for attending today's session and being patient until now. We'll see you tomorrow at the same time at 11. And if you have anything, please let me know tomorrow. With this, we end up the session. Thank you all again. Thank you once again.
हमारे साथ जुड़े रहने का हमारे साथ जुड़े रहने के लिए दिल्ली के गैराजी से धन्यवाद।